Hi everyone, today we're setting up Unreal Engine with Perforce. So, first off you'll need to download a few things. You'll need the Helix visual client, and you'll need the Helix admin tool. I'll be linking both of these in the description. So, first of all, you'll have to navigate over to digitalocean.com and create an account, and once that's done, we'll move over here to the marketplace. So I'll link this in the description as well. So, first of all, we're going to create a Perforce Helix core droplet. So here, you have a few options. You just choose the region that's closest to you. So I'll be choosing Sydney. And we'll leave it as that, Perforce Helix Core. Then down here, so it defaults to $32 a month. You can reduce that down to whatever fits your budget, so $8 is probably enough, $16, either of those options are fine. And you'll notice it also defaults to a premium SSD. So if you're working on a larger group project, you probably want to go with a better server. You can always upgrade it later, which is not a hassle. And then if you go to the regular SSDs here, you have even cheaper options. So, yeah, you just choose whatever option you want here. I'll go with the $16 a month. And here I'll be showing you the method with just a password. If you want it to be a bit more secure, you can use an SSH key, and there is instructions on this page here about how you can do that, but I won't show you in the video. So, first of all, I'm just going to create my root password. Okay, so my password's been created. You will want to note this down because you will need this afterwards. And you will note here, this does not get sent to your email, so you have to record it when you type it in here. So don't worry about these things here. You can turn that on if you really want to, it doesn't really matter. And then give your droplet a name, so I'm just going to call it Perforce Server, because that's what it is. And then create droplet. So, now we actually want to get this server set up for Perforce. So, we're going to click here. Then we're going to go to Access. And we're going to well, it has to turn on first, so turn on. Might take a bit. Okay, so now this is completed, so I'm going to first of all launch the console. And we're doing this so we can get the access password. So, you'll see here, Helix core. So now we want to run the command cat/root/perforce.password, and this will give us the password that this will just give us the admin password for the Perforce server. So, take note of this, copy it down somewhere because you will need it. Alright, once this is done we can just close this down, and that is the DigitalOcean setup completed. Now we actually have to jump into Helix, the visual client, and set some things up. So, I already have it down here. So, server, that'll just be your IP4 address up here, so I'll just copy this. And it'll be SSL semicolon and then semicolon 1666. And then for your user, it is Perforce. And you can just leave workspace empty for now because we actually haven't set that up yet. So we'll press OK, and you can just trust and connect. So now you'll enter your password that you got earlier from the console. And now we have an empty client here. So first of all, we actually have to create a new depot. This is essentially a repository if you're used to GitHub. So there's nothing here, so I'll just go new workspace. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to leave it as default. And then for the workspace root, this is where your project is going to be stored. So you want to preferably store it on a SSD if you're using Unreal. So I'll just go P4 workspaces random, and I could leave it in here. And the stream here, I'll first have to fix this up. I'll just leave that name there. Space random, and then I'll call this tutorial. So select folder, and we can just press OK. So now it doesn't actually have any files, it's an empty repository. So I'm going to browse to where I saved my project. This is where you just made your workspace. So I am just currently browsing to the existing project of my machine. So as you can see here, test project, and this is just an empty Unreal Engine project. You'd add your actual project here if you already have one set up. And then we just press next. You can leave this as default and start the upload. And there you have it. We have this now. So now I'm going to show you, I'm just going to open up the Unreal Engine project and show you how to actually commit to this. So I am now in the actual Perforce folder where I saved the project. You have to make sure you actually open this new one because it's essentially just cloning the project to a new location. And this project here is what Perforce will keep an eye on. So I'm going to open up the test project. And all that. So, now, a couple things. First of all, I'm going to show you an editor preference, which is quite handy for when you're using Perforce. So you want to go down to here, editor preferences, loading and saving, and then you will want to tick prompt for checkout on asset modification. That is essentially going to tell you, do you want to check out this asset when you modify it? Which is very handy. It means no one else will be able to touch it. So, now down here you have your revision control window. I'm going to click on this, connect to revision control, and we have Perforce. So just give it a second to load. So here for the server, you will want your actual IP address. So for this one, it is the same as what you entered to actually connect to it through the client. Now for the username, you can use Perforce, because we are currently logged in as admin. And then workspace, you'll want to actually get your workspace name here. So for me it's Perforce_BensPC_5995. So I'm going to copy, I'm just going to type it in. And then it should just work. Failed to connect. Yep. So now this is working. So down here you'll see a green tick. This means it's connected. So what can we actually do now? So I'll give you an example. I'm going to create a new material, m_test. I'm going to save it, and you'll notice a little green cross here. That means you can add this to the source control now. So in here you'll notice there's a few options here. First of all, you can view changes. So this default change list here, this is everything that you're actually going to submit back to the server. So you have m_test, which is the material I just created, so we can close that, and then we're going to submit our content. So I'm just going to go then test commit, and down here keep files checked out, you tick that if you want to actually keep the file checked out, which means no one else can touch it. I'll show you that in a sec. So I've now submitted change list 3, and if I go back here and let's just say I make a small modification to this material, so I'll plug it in and I'll just make it, I don't know, blue. So I'm going to save this, and now it's going to prompt me, so checkout selected. This is why Perforce is good. It lets you lock files like this, so no one else can touch them. So back here, you'll notice a red tick now, which means the files are checked out. This means literally no one else can touch it, and you won't have any merge conflicts. So now when I go back to view changes, you'll see the material there again, with the red tick, it's checked out. And then you will go submit content, and I'll just do test commit. Submit that. Change list 4. And now if I go back here, you'll notice it is not checked out anymore. So if we go back here to the Perforce client, you can also check the history, and you can see those test commits we just did have shown up in the actual the server, and you can also check the individual files which have been touched with this. So now I'm going to show you how to actually add users as an admin, and then the process of a user downloading the project. So I've gone and opened up P4 admin, which is something else I told you to download at the start. So now, same thing, you enter your Perforce server the same way that you did for P4, just the helix client, so SSL 170.64.139.7, and we're logging in as user Perforce. So we'll press OK, and it will bring up a new menu. So this is just your admin client. You can control the users here, permissions, the depots, and everything. So we're going to go just up here and press user. So you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to go to test user 1. You set your password here for that user. So I will not show that on the video. You can leave the email and full name blank if you want, or just a random email, just some random text, otherwise I won't let you apply it. And then you can also add a group here. So I'm going to just make a new group called normal_user and add that. And I'll create it now because it doesn't exist yet, and apply. And it's giving me an error because my password's not long enough. Just give me a sec to fix that. Okay, and now it's good. We'll cancel this, and now you'll see if we go to users and groups, there is test user 1, part of the normal user group. So now I will jump into Perforce client as a new user and show you how to actually download the files. So I've gone to the new menu here to open up a new connection. It's the same server here, it's just a new user. So over here you can see test user 1. So test user 1. And I'm going to press OK. You don't do anything with the workspace because you don't have one yet. So you press OK, and I'll enter the password that I made. And it's here now. So to create a new depot, you just follow a pretty similar process, and I'll show you how to do that. So first of all, you go up to the view window here, get your stream graph, and then I'm going to right click on mainline here and go new workspace. So here you essentially do the same process. You name your workspace, you set where you want it to be stored on the machine, and then the stream here, you leave this as streams depot mainline, so it actually gets these project files. So you can just double check it's all there. You'd probably want to tick automatically get all revisions, so that's just going to get all the revisions when you start this up. And then in advanced, so there's a few settings we actually want to change here, or just double check at least. So file options here, you definitely don't want to tick all right. Delete right now, you can leave these. Okay, this is the important one. On submit, you don't want to submit unchanged files. So that pretty much means you're not submitting a bunch of files every single time you're committing something. And all these other settings, I mean, you can put a description in here, it doesn't really matter, but this is about it. And then I'm going to go OK. So now that has stored it locally on my machine, and I'm just going to... So I've just closed the other project, and now the depot I just stored, it's located here. You can choose your own location when you actually create it. So we'll just open this up. Okay, it's compiling a bunch of shaders. I will pause this and we'll come back in 10 minutes or so. Okay, so the shader's finished compiling. We'll do the same process. We'll go down here to revision control, select Perforce, and now we can log in as the user that we just created. So I will enter these in quickly. So I'll just quickly show you the settings that I actually use. So again, the actual workspace is what you've got it saved as here. So for me it's test user underscore 1, bins PC, mainline, it's all here. Then I'll accept that, it's working. And I'll just do another commit just to show you something. So I'll just call it that terrible name. And then I will just go, to make sure we set it up properly, we'll go to view changes, yep, and it's automatically showing up here. And now we just submit the content. Submitted change list 5. So if we go back here, test user 1, just have to get that history window up again. There you go, it's also here. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I will leave a referral code in the description which will get you $200 worth of free credit for the site. It also helps me out. If you want any other tutorials relating to Unreal Engine or source control, let me know. Or also more complicated Perforce workflows. This is a very basic Perforce setup. You can go a lot more complicated with things, and I can show you how to do that if you'd like. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone. So, I'm just editing this part at the end of the video because I forgot to do it earlier. Well, we need to create a p4ignore file. Pretty much, it's just like a getignore, it's just telling Perforce not to upload certain types of files. So to do this, you go to your directory where everything's saved. In my case, my workspace is here. You create a text file, and you just call it p4ignore, but I've already got one, so I'm not going to do this again. You enter this text into it, which I will link in the description. And then after that, you rename the file. So originally it'll be, something like .p4ignore.txt or something. You remove the .txt at the end, and then you just leave it like this. And then within Perforce, after you create this ignore file, it will appear here. However, it will not be actually added to the repository. So you'll just hit refresh, and then it should appear, and then you'll just go and click the add button up here. And that's it for the p4ignore. So if you don't have one, you'd be uploading the intermediate folder, the saves folder, and those have a lot of information in them that you just don't need to share with other people. It just bulks up the server. So with this p4ignore file, you're just telling Perforce to only upload very specific folders.